Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Brandon Jay McLaren. I play Buckley on Snowfall, and I'm coming up on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast. Check it out.
Looking for the most beers on tap? Great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Hayes sent you.
The #1 sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. Never stop. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down. Lay down.
They just started shooting. Now get up in the back. One of them ran. One of them repeated me to stop. He had a gun in his hand. Was turning back to fire.
You gonna shoot me? If it meant me getting my fucking money back, I would kill you 10 times over. Now you are gonna make that call.
Drop the piece to it now.
You were saying? Fuck you.
You want him done? Just say the word.
Look, I'm doing everything I can, but as of now, I think Aiden's best chance is a forgiving jury.
No, you can stop working on his case. Yeah, the prison's about to call. Just as soon as they find Aiden's body in his cell.
You had him killed? Why?
Word on the street was he was talking like he was gonna turn on me.
Look, as far as I know, he was completely loyal to you.
Right. 10 years of service. One meeting with you and he got squirrely.
No, we talked legal strategy. That's it. All right. I know that you have a reason to be nervous, okay? But I won't do anything to endanger my family. That you can count on.
Final warning.
Our target is Elijah Stone. He's smart and ruthless.
Let's go get him.
Your family, we're in.
Did I win the game? I always win. This is the year.
We'll be fine. So I'm Ryan, by the way. I'm the one that's been talking to you, obviously.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, okay. Born in Vancouver. What was childhood like for you growing up?
I was cool, man. I grew up in Surrey, went to, Johnson Heights High School, Eagles stand up. So yeah, it was cool, man. I had a really awesome theater program in my high school. I had a very impactful, grade 11 and 12 drama teacher named Harvey Ostroff, who I've seen recently, actually, which is really cool. And so that's kind of where, in Johnson Heights specifically, that's kind of where like the acting bug sort of, got planted.
Because they have that big theater right there, don't they?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, and so my grade 8 year, I think it was like the second or third year the school was built. So the school was like brand new at the time. So yeah, they had a big performing arts center, and they had like a state of the art like recording studio. So yeah, it was a cool place to be at that time.
Yeah, I'm just across the bridge in Coquitlam. So.
Oh yeah. Okay,
right
cool.
Right by the Hard Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
No, just soccer.
Just soccer.
Yeah, I actually went to university in the States on a soccer scholarship. Yeah. So it was interesting, you know, sort of navigating those two worlds in high school. Because I don't think anybody in the soccer world knew that I was into drama. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people don't cross over. So I think for a lot of people, like, you know, after I graduated university, they were a little surprised that I started acting. And I was like, oh no, I've been doing this, you know, since like 8th grade, but nobody really knew.
So when did you get into it and how did it start?
The acting thing?
Yes.
I mean, you know, it started out in 7th grade. My mom actually heard an ad on the radio that they were looking for ethnic kids to audition for commercials. And so my mom just kind of threw me in there, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. And then that first year, I booked like 5 commercials. And then, you know, subsequently, I went to Johnson Heights, and I got very involved in the theater program there. And then my teacher, Harvey Ostroff, just really encouraged me to be like, hey, man, like, I think you're talented. Like, if you ever want to pursue this as a profession, I think, you know, you should give it a shot. And at that time, I was kind of like, yeah, right. Like, you know, because, you know, like, you know, when you're in high school in Surrey, you don't ever think about, you know, being on TV. It's just not a thing, you know, like it's sort of so far removed from that experience. But yeah, so I credit him a lot.
And when did you know that you were going to make it your career?
Oh man, I mean, shit. Have I made it? I still
I think so.
I still don't know if I know, man. But I think like the first job that I booked, like after I moved to LA, like in LA, I think after that kind of gave me the confidence to be like, you know, maybe there's like a career here somewhere. At the time, I really didn't know what that would look like, but I think that's what it took. Yeah.
Well, you moved to LA though, because you were chasing that dream. So you obviously knew that you wanted to do it ahead of that.
Well, I knew I wanted to do it. And I also knew that at the time, I didn't think staying in Vancouver could facilitate what I ultimately wanted.
Yeah.
Because I was very big on like, if I was going to do it, I wanted to try to do it on the biggest stage possible, you know? And I wanted to go down there and like play with the big boys and kind of see what I was made of. You know what I mean? That was important to me.
Who really influenced you as a young actor that maybe you wanted to? We in our hockey questions we would call it mirror your game after.
Right. I mean, I don't think there was any actor specifically that I wanted to mirror after, but I knew for me, especially like being in those Johnson Heights drama classes, like. I guess I got to sort of explore a part of myself that I didn't feel like I could in my real life. And that's what really sort of drew me to the craft of acting. It was sort of like a safe space where like all these things that I was feeling, and, you know, as a teenager, it's a complicated thing, you know, and those classes and, you know, Harvey Ostroff specifically just gave me a safe space where I can like navigate through all these things I was feeling. And I think that's where sort of the passion really came from.
I've always wanted to do it. My goal is Survivor. I've always wanted to be on Survivor. I watch every episode, or Bachelor in Paradise, or one of these awesome, something awesome like along those lines. And back in the day, I was actually in X-Files because they used to film X-Files back in Vancouver.
I remember that, man. Yeah, that was like what, in the early 90s, the X-Files thing?
Yeah, I was like 93. I was in this episode. I was like 10 years old, and I just remember getting paid like pretty good bucks for just being an
right. Yeah, free food and stuff. As like a teenager, you're like, this is great.
Yeah, and the catering was good. And it was something that I always regret not following and chasing that dream. And then I basically started trying to be a DJ in town, and I was doing clubs and events. And then I was also doing like mixtapes, and I didn't rap, but I managed a Dominican artist that rapped.
Okay.
So he did Spanish music here in Vancouver, and he was pretty big for a while. You do music as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of been like a thing that me and my brother have collaborated on really like kind of recently. I mean, my brother always did it. I did it a little bit like back in the day in Vancouver, but I never really got that heavy into it. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, it was Christmas time, and me and my younger brother also lives in LA, which is great. We were just like, why don't we just like start collaborating together? And so, yeah, we've sold like 4 different songs to TV shows. And that's kind of like our little niche. Like we just kind of make hip hop, and we, and I just slang them to TV shows and see if they want to place them. And it's been a really cool thing. It's been a cool way for me and my younger brother. We're really close for us to like kind of collaborate and be artistic together without any real kind of pressure. Like we don't really feel any kind of pressure to sell albums or nothing. We can just put them in TV shows, and
because then you get paid that way. There's no, like you're saying, there's no need to sell albums when you can just sell singles.
Yeah, and it's and like I have the plug with all the TV people, so it kind of found our own little niche. It's been pretty cool.
And if you're having a dream dinner party, you can invite 3 famous people dead or alive. Who do you want to bring to your dinner?
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
I want to bring. Can they be alive now?
Yeah, dead or alive.
Oh,
yeah.
Malcolm X, Michael Jordan, and maybe John Lennon.
Okay. I always go with Tupac, Seth Rogen, being from Vancouver. I'd like to smoke with Seth one day. And, and then I always go Paulina Gretzky or Shakira for some eye candy.
Yeah, mix it up. I like it. It's a good, that's a strong trio, man.
Yeah. If there was $1,000 prize in the line and you had to sing one karaoke song, what song would you choose?
Redemption Song, Bob Marley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one person that really pushed you in your younger days to get into the music? Or
no, the music stuff. I had a kind of a mentor named Hakeem Hassan, and I had actually met him. I was like 15. I met him at like the Jamaican picnic in New Brighton Park.
Okay.
So I'm like in like 95. And he was sort of like my music mentor, and we still keep in touch. And in fact, like years later, I kind of passed my brother on to him. And so he was sort of the guy that I kind of leaned on in my early music years. And so, I always kind of keep him updated with what we're doing now. And as a matter of fact, so I'm doing a TV show in New York City right now. That's why I'm out here.
Yep.
But when I rap, me and my brother are definitely going back and going to record some more stuff and keep slanging these songs, man.
Especially being from Surrey now, with like the #1 Canadian rapper is pretty much Mercury's, I would think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess Drake is.
Of course, yeah. I mean, and The Weeknd, those guys. I just forget and Belly. I guess I forget that they're from Canada.
Because they're so huge now. They almost forget, right?
Yeah. So then Merc, obviously being from Surrey, would you know a Rasta Mike from Surrey? How long have you been gone? How long have you been gone?
I left. I went to university out here, upstate New York.
And then
I left in '97, came back in '02, and then I left again in '05, and I haven't really been back much at all. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really know the scene there anymore.
Okay.
I do know, like just through like the grapevine, that it's grown a lot.
Yeah. my a buddy of mine's a Rasta dude from Surrey, but he's maybe I'm the same age as you, and he's maybe 10 years older than me. So,
oh wow, okay.
I thought maybe you might have known him. What do you enjoy the most about acting?
I mean, for me, like, I think, hey, what's up, man? Can you see me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Doing good.
That's Prince Allen. He's in Kansas City.
All right. What's up? Nice to meet you, man.
Right. Nice to meet you too, man. Hey, I love the show that you're on, man, and learning about you, man, is totally cool, man. So thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Back to your question real quick. Yeah, like, I think like in my normal life, I'm a little bit like shy and awkward. And I think, acting just allows me to sort of connect with people. I think that I sometimes I think I might have trouble with in real life. And so, man, like, that's why I always say, like, literally my favorite thing to do in the world is act. Like, it gives me a high. I come home from work, I feel great. Like I'm buzzing, you know what I mean? And so, and all the other stuff is like, whatever, like all like the fame and all that other stuff is like, I like just doing the thing, like I like being there and doing the thing. That's what kind of gets me going.
You sign autographs for people when you get that happening?
Oh yeah. Like, especially now, like being in New York City this summer with Snowfall just coming out, it's wild. Like it's wild. Yeah.
That's sweet. For those that don't know, can you name off some? Me and Prince know, but for the people that don't know, can you name off some of your past shows?
Yeah, like I said, like I just finished Snowfall. Right before that, I was on The Rookie. Before that, I mean, I did a show called Firefly Lane that was real popular over the pandemic. I did a show called Graceland for 3 years on USA Network. I did a show called Ransom on CBS for 3 years. That was real popular. So yeah, those are kind of like maybe like the 5 most recent ones.
Yeah, and then going back to was your first one Power Rangers?
Yeah, that was like my first like lead role in something. Yeah, and that was really dope, man. Like that show low-key changed my life. That was like the show. I think I was 25 when I got that, and that was the show that like allowed me to like quit my serving job, And like
quit the real
after that job, I was like, now I'm just like an actor. And like that, when you're 25, that's important. You're not like slanging drinks and having to do both. So yeah, that job was really important to me.
What's your most valuable skill as an actor?
Oh man, I think it's my flexibility. I'm not like I don't hold shit too precious. So I can do something a bazillion different ways, and I think that's been my strength.
And when I wrote that question down, my head, the answer was versatile.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Basically, all your roles have been something a little bit different.
Yeah, man, I've been blessed, man. Like love interest, bad guy, a little bit of comedy in there. Crack addicted cop, name it.
Do you have a favorite role?
Yeah, definitely Graceland is my favorite role. And I think that show ended too soon. I think we should have at least got one more season to kind of tie up all the loose ends because it ended on such a cliffhanger. And also, like, that cast was amazing. We just all got along so well. We shot that show in Miami, so I was in Miami for 3 years. That was great.
Tough life.
Right? No complaints there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta say that was my favorite show.
Okay, well, Prince, do you want to shoot one? Or you want me to I can do it if you want me to. So hey, so becoming, as an actor, man, like just like, what did you ever do anything like in plays whenever you started off acting? Or you did?
Like I started out doing commercials when I was like 12, and then and I was really involved in the theater program in my high school. I was telling Hayes that. So that's kind of where it started. And then actually in my senior year of university, actually did one of the university plays. I got a lead role in that. It was called Flying West by Pearl Cleage. And that was big for me too, because, I was a soccer player in university and I was a science major. And so like when you're, on a D1 scholarship and you're a science major, you don't even go to the theater part of the school. Like I didn't even know that shit existed. You know what I'm saying? And in my senior year, I was like, yo, let me audition for this play, because it was like actually the first Black play that my university had ever done. And so I auditioned, I got a lead role, and it was great. And then that was really like, after I got that, I was like, oh, maybe I really want to try this acting shit for real. And so that was me sort of like, after leaving high school, reconnecting to acting, and then having the courage enough to be like, maybe I should try this out as a career, because when you're in high school, that's just like, it's just kind of for fun at the time. You know what I mean?
And have you ever wanted to do live theater? Like,
yeah, I mean, like I haven't done a play since university, since my senior year, but I would love to. It's just, it's hard. I guess it's hard because it takes you out of other stuff. So you might have to block off like 3 months of your time where you're not able to do anything else. But especially like being back in New York, man, like I would love to do Broadway. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Bucket list. Yeah. Like, if anybody's listening out there, Broadway.
Hey, if it was a Broadway play, like, what would you want to do? Like if you had like a specific like Broadway play that called you, like,
man,
like a dream.
That's a tough one right now, man. I'm not in the loop with the new plays anymore. I'm trying to think of like some of the classics that I really, really dig. I mean, Glenn Ross is a play that I love. I actually saw what's his name, Liv Schreiber do it about 10 years ago on Broadway, and he blew my mind. And I love Mammoth, so maybe it'd be something like that.
So would you have it? Would Broadway be your dream venue kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not dream like, and then I'm done, but it would be like a thing I would love to do, like a bucket list thing that I'd like to check off and say that I did.
We asked like the sports guys, would you have a dream venue that you want to play in one day?
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, Broadway would be one of them, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
What would it be on the West Coast?
Oh, in terms of like theater venues?
Yeah. What's their big theater out west? Like, is there anything
I don't even know if there's an equivalent, man. I mean, I know, like, I think it would be Broadway or London, the West End in London. Those are like the two sort of like top tier theater scenes. I don't know if anywhere else really compares to the West End or Broadway. Those are, and either of those for me, or even both. I'll take both. Yeah, that'd be dope.
And what's your daily routine look like on set?
Well, it's all different, man. It depends. Like sometimes you go in and you're only in one scene. You know what I mean? Sometimes you go in, you're there for like 4 hours. Sometimes you're there for 14 hours. So it just depends on like the day, how many scenes you are in the day, how many other people are in the scenes with you. That'll like dictate how long the day is. So every day is really different, which I think is also something I really love. Like every day is completely different than the next day.
And I seen the video somewhere of yours where they were doing your hair for the Snowfall role.
Yeah.
You don't have the dreads. How long did that take? Because it was in like fast forward.
Yeah, so that's about an hour in the hair chair every time I go in. You know what I mean? So they had to, it was a wild story, man. Like when they cast me for that role, after they cast me, they were like, hey, like, will Brandon cut his hair? And I was like, nah, that's not, we didn't, and I'm so grateful to them because, they could have just recast, but they were like, okay, well, let's see if we can work with you. And yeah, the hair people were great. And yeah, I wore a wig and I think the wig looks pretty good. If you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean?
No, you wouldn't even know. And I did read somewhere today in my notes that I made, there was one time you offered to cut your hair for a role.
Yeah, I cut it on Graceland in the season finale, season 3, the last episode. I cut it in anticipation that we'd come back for a 4th season. And I thought it'd be really cool if I could like, you know, cut it and then come back bald. And then got canceled. But, you know, at that time, that was important for me because I had never been an actor without my hair. And I was like, A, like I can cut it on TV, which is still a cool ass moment. And B, I was like, I needed to prove to myself that I could do it without the dreads. You know what I mean? That was important to me. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately it worked out in the end.
Do you have any routines that you'd go through on your day? Like, say, like we asked that one in our hockey guys, and some guys, they tie their left skate first and then before their right skate, or they put new skate laces in. One guy blows up.
Right. I mean, there's nothing that specific. I mean, when I do it, like, you know, when I'm on a show, like I usually just don't drink at all. It just helps with like my sleep and like just me being like aware, you know, like my awareness. But other than that, because like every day is so different and my schedule's always different, like there's nothing, you can't get into too much routine because ultimately it's always going to get screwed up anyway, by something like new getting thrown your way. But for me, it's just sort of trying to be just like you know, get as much sleep, get as much rest, you know, be as sharp as possible.
Good. I mean, some people always like, if you're an actor or even some hockey players, I'll have like a cigarette or something before.
Right.
If you're a smoker, I don't know, but like that, I would
like, you know what I do? Like I won't have I'll have my first coffee after the first rehearsal. That's like something I always do. And, you know, I didn't even realize I did it until right now.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sports franchise?
A favorite sports franchise? Yeah, I think it's Barcelona. It's got to be Barcelona. Yeah. I actually, so I did that show that I did called Ransom. We shot in Budapest for 2 years. And so while I was out in Europe, I got to go to Barcelona and check out a match. And it was incredible. That was definitely like a dream come true.
Yeah. So I pretty much know the answer to this now after interviewing you here. If you could play one professional sport, what would it be?
Oh yeah, it'd be soccer. You know, that was that's what I kind of hoped to do as a teenager.
I could dig that.
What's your favorite movie? Not that you've been in.
My favorite movie of all time?
Yeah.
Teen Wolf.
Okay.
Michael J. Fox.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
That shit slaps, yo. Go rewatch that.
Right. Everybody, hey, I don't think I never seen anybody say Teen Wolf, because you know what's so crazy is because if you really remember how Teen Wolf was the shit to everybody, like for real.
When that came out, like as a kid, I was like, this is and you know, he was like the ball player, like it was dope.
Right. Michael J. Fox was the shit.
Yeah, he was the man.
And he's from Vancouver.
Yeah, he's from Burnaby, right? Yeah.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
Prince, he's from like 5 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
No shit. I never knew that.
That's and Brandon actually grew up about 10 minutes away from me.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
What is go ahead, Prince.
Oh yeah. I was checking, man, and I seen that you worked with on Blade too, like had an appearance on there with Sticky Fingers, man. Like, how was that working with Sticky Fingers? And have you ever had any, you know, good moment at that time? Like, how was that?
Yeah, that was like one of the early things that I did. And so it was cool. Like, I don't even remember what year that was, but that was very early on in my career. But it was cool because, like, you know, as a kid, when did Onyx get like bust? Like 92 maybe?
Yeah, it was like 92.
Right? 92, 93. And then cut to like 10 years later, like you're working with Sticky Fingers. Like those are those moments when you're like, what is life, man? I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Yeah. When Graceland was going on, me and my castmate Manny Montana and one of our directors, we were in a restaurant in LA eating. I think it's after the second season. We walked to the restaurant and De La Soul is sitting in the restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
And And so like I see them and shit and like whatever. I'm not gonna bother them, right? Like we all grown and shit. So homeboy from De La Soul walks up to me in the restaurant. He was like, "Hey family," he's like, "Yo, I love your show." Like, and I was like, did De La Soul just come up to me and give me props? Like, you know how wild that is? Like those are those cool moments when you're like, holy shit, like I don't know how to comprehend this, man, but like that shit is dope. I was like, yeah, I know who you are, bro. Thank you.
Right. Your buddy Manny, that's he's in the Mayans. MC,
yeah, he's in the new Mayans thing. He was in Good Girls for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think he just got cast in a new Disney Plus show. Iron Fist, which I think is like so yeah, he's doing great things as well, man. He's a great actor.
What is your personal highlight so far in your career?
I mean, like little moments like that, I think are the best, you know. Also, like, you know, every once in a while, I remember I got a letter from this dude in the Marines. Either he was in the Marines or he was a federal agent. And he was like, "Hey man, like I know you don't know me, but he's like, you know, that character you play on Graceland, he's like, hey, like I lost my kid, like being undercover, like I can't see him." And he's like, "Man, just so you know that like I watch you and like that, like it helps me." And like little things like that. That's like the best. You know what I mean? Like, cause like I didn't know that I was doing that. That wasn't intentional. But when you get to like, you know, when somebody sees something you do and it touches them in a certain way, it's like, oh, that's like, those are like the W's that you can't foresee, but those are the best ones, you know?
That's for sure. What's next for you?
Well, I'm doing the show right now in New York City. It's called Everything's Trash. It's a comedy, actually. So I get to switch it up a little bit. It's going to be on Freeform coming out July 13th. So less than a month. It's about a comedian named Phoebe Robinson. She has a great podcast called Two Dope Queens, and she wrote a book called Everything's Trash. And the show is essentially about her life as like a single young woman in New York City dating. I play her on and off again boyfriend. She's hilarious. I think the show's going to be hilarious. So yeah, make sure to check it out. July 13th. Everything's Trash.
And before we get to the Snowfall questions, I got one more.
Sure.
What do you want your legacy to be when this is all said and done?
Oh man, that's a great question. You know, like I hope my legacy is just like somebody like I love to do what I do. None of like where I'm at right now, like I said, it wasn't foreseeable for me. It's just a result of like a lot of hard work and a lot of love. And I just hope people think that, you know, like, you know, every character I play, like I try to make it a little different, a little unique. And that's it.
Is there one actor you want to work with?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think I love Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy's really great. And I love Jessica Chastain. I think she's really great.
Oh yeah.
So maybe those are like the two that I really, every time they do something, I'll watch it just because I just like to watch them work.
That's like me and Seth Rogen.
There you go.
And now it's you as well. So what's next for Snowfall? And
I believe Snowfall, there's one more season left, right? Season 6 is going to be the final season. I think it starts shooting sometime in September, I heard. I haven't heard what's going to happen with Buckley. My hope is that he'll still be in it heavily. It's funny, man. Like when I started the show, like the first 2 episodes I did, I was like, this guy's going to die. Like, because Buckley comes in so hot, you know what I mean? Like he just starts off like nuts. Like there's no slow build. He just starts off on a 10. And I was like, there's no way this guy's going to survive. And I didn't know until I read the final episode. And I was like, what a dope ending. So I'm excited to hopefully be a part of season 6.
Yeah, I believe you are. We've seen how it ended, and they got to follow up on the murder.
Right. Yeah, like I don't see how it's gonna just end like that. So yeah, I'm excited, man, and I think this season's just gonna be mayhem. Like I just think everything is gonna go, like everything's gonna burn down. You know what I mean? Nobody's safe.
I hope nobody's safe at this point. For real.
I hope there's 20 episodes.
I know, that would be nice. I think they're only doing like 10 for the last one. Maybe they'll do like 12, like a little special.
Hopefully they do.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be the best season yet.
Right. Speaking of Snowfall, man, like if Buckley could be in one type of scene on the last season, what would it be? Because they had some crazy scenes.
Yo, man.
What you think would fit?
I mean, listen, like, I just see like the Scarface scene where he just goes out just blazing, I just kind of see that for Buckley. Like, he's just so far gone, like he doesn't have much left to care about, unfortunately. So yeah, I see something like that.
But this is what I said though. And the last episodes or like the last season. Remember some of the seasons, like for instance, like I think I can see Buckley in the one whenever they spiked the fucking punch and everybody was all high. You know what I mean? What like those type of scenes, like what you think Buckley could have been in? You think he would have been in that type of scene whenever they spiked the punch and stuff? You know what I mean?
Buckley, what's cool about Buckley, I think, is that like it was just him and Aunt Louie for the entire season. Mm-hmm. Like he really wasn't part of anybody else's world. A little bit with Jerome, but you could tell him and Jerome don't really mesh, right? So what I think would be cool in season 6 is if Buckley sort of like gets introduced to the rest of the world, and it's not just him and Louie, but he becomes part of the rest of the world. I think that's really cool. And obviously you saw how it ended, man. He had a gun to Damson's head. So things are gonna like he's invested now. He's in all the way. You know what I mean?
Right. And speaking of, Damson, man, like how is it working with a young actor like him, Damson?
I mean, he
does shit.
I only did that one scene with him. You know what I mean? So like I had met him once in the trailers, but that whole season, I only had that one little pop at the end.
Right.
So it's wild, but yeah, hopefully, in season 6, I'll get to work with him more because he's fantastic. He's so great. And I think the world is just now starting to see how good he was. I think the first 4 seasons, people were kind of sleeping on him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's actually got a strong English accent, I believe. And Dub C, the rapper, was helping train him.
Yeah, no, he's British. Yeah, again, a very strong British accent. But you know what? I think like you would never know. If you don't know, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
I never even realized till I started reading seeing interviews outside of the show.
Yeah, which is pretty great. It's a testament to his talent for sure.
If they were making a movie about your life, who would you want to play you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Oh, man. I don't even know enough like younger actors to even say, to be honest with you.
Like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll take that. That's great. Yeah.
So,
and speaking of, Jerome, man, like working with, what is that? Amin? What's his name?
Yeah, Eamon Joseph.
Eamon Joseph, you know what I'm saying? Which, he's a total, a great actor too, like playing Jerome. Like, how's it working with him? Because, he worked with The Rock on, I think, what is it? I forgot what.
He's funny. What movie. He's funny. He's got lots of funny stuff.
He got lots of funny stuff, man. Like, coming working with him. How's it working with him?
Eamon's great, man. Like, Eamon doesn't play, man. Eamon's there to work. You know what I'm saying? And and so I appreciate him for this, but like him and my character aren't really supposed to like deal with each other. And like he didn't give me no breaks, man. So he made me work for every little inch in every scene, and I appreciate that for him because iron sharpens iron. But it's like great because like, there's nothing better as an actor to like when you show up to set and the other actor is super prepared and it's like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that, and that's what it was like with him every time, and it was so much fun.
How did they go about finding you to be on the show, or did you have to apply?
Yeah, I auditioned like everybody else. I sent a tape in, kind of like just pretty standard stuff. And it was funny because I was actually working on The Rookie at the time, and so there was like a couple weeks where I was doing both shows at once, which was kind of wild. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of different. But no, like, yeah, they were great, man. Like I said, they let me like keep my hair. They wigged me, and that was like, yeah, it was probably one of the best acted shows I've ever been on. I remember like when I first got it, I watched the first 2 seasons and I had to stop because I was like, I don't want to get too influenced before I get into the show, before I start acting on it. You know what I mean? I was like, let me just stop and like clear my head so I can like go into the show with like a clear slate and kind of bring my ideas in instead of like, because if you watch too much of it, you're gonna start to copy people. Yeah. You know what I mean? That you like. And I was like, I gotta stop and gotta like just come in fresh and just do my thing.
What's some words of wisdom for the young actors or actresses?
Like don't worry about becoming a great actor. Don't worry about your Instagram followers or worry about just being a great actor, because at the end of the day, man, like, what sustains you over a 20 or 30 year career sample size is being able to show up and do the job well. You can have little hits of fame and success here and there, but what gives you like a career is like a proper toolkit and a skill set that you have to develop. So just worry about becoming the best actor you can, and everything else will fall into place.
You have a charity as well, or something along those lines, right?
Yeah. So I work with the charity in Grenada. That's where my dad is from. I ran the New York Marathon a couple years ago to raise money for them. Unfortunately, I can't run it this year, but I'm still trying to raise money. I think I'm going to be shooting Snowfall during that time. That's why I can't run. But it's really near and dear to my heart. What we do is we essentially have like programs for kids who grew up as orphans on the island. We try to transition them out of their government living situations and trying to make them positive individuals in society. So Grenada is really important to me, and so it's important that I can go back and try to give back, because I've been given so much opportunity that a lot of these kids haven't been.
Well, Prince, shoot one then. Shoot one more.
Yeah, I got you one more for you, man. And you was just talking about music now, right? And you just talked about De La Soul. Like, when you have these roles, what's in your playlist? You know what I'm saying? To get you sometimes or what's just in your playlist?
That's a good one.
I mean, it depends, man. I do have like a certain, I have a certain sort of like 4 or 5 go-to songs. If I need to get emotional, like I know those ones will just every time it'll get me. I'm not going to tell it to you because
of course.
But yeah, I think those are like things that little tools that actors I think always have that and they don't always work, but it's good to have them because sometimes you need them. And when there's chaos going around you and people are fixing lights and the director's screaming, you got to be able to kind of like center yourself and tap into something. But right now, man, I'm gonna be honest. There's nothing really in my playlist right now. I kind of go back and forth with music. I listen to a lot of sports radio, oddly enough. I love Levitard. I'm a Levitard fan. Okay. He's my guy. I haven't really listened to a lot of music lately, but I was telling Hayes that after this show is done, me and my brother are going to go back and start recording again. So I'm sure I'll pick up some stuff between now and then.
Yeah. So what would you say the genre is that you like then?
Oh, man, it depends, man.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I'm a guy, like if I hear a song in the gym I like, or if I'm at a coffee shop I like, add. And so the playlist just becomes so eclectic because anything I just kind of like catches me, I'll be like, add. And then I just like, let's do it on mix. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's how mine is too. You Shazam it wherever you are, and then
and like if it's something catch me, I just add it, and then it might be 6 months until I hear that song again. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. So I think that's like for me, like that's the easiest way because like as you grow older, man, like I just don't have the bandwidth to like focus on. Like I only have so many things I can focus on in my day.
You can focus on right. So Shazam or Google or whatever you need to, scan it. I understand that too. So
yeah,
because I do that too. I used to have a million songs in my head, and I'd be like, "Yo,
me too, man.
Can't
do that no more.
Yeah, I can't do that no more.
Yeah. These young kids don't understand the struggle of having to fit 18 songs on a CD and burning it.
Right.
Dude, I remember like going down to like there was like a little record store on Granville Street where they had hip hop and like taking the SkyTrain down there just to get like any kind of new hip hop. Like you just couldn't get it. Yeah, these kids don't. Kids don't. Look at us sound like old man.
Right. Hey, it took a while to get this way, and now we're like, well, we're there now because I remember the times that we used to, had to burn CDs or had to go to the record store or had to remember we used to have our moms or dads had to tell them, hey man, can you take us to the record store real quick?
Yeah,
what I mean? Nowadays, you know what I'm saying? We just like, yo, man. I wish we had those again, like Blockbuster and all that. You know what I mean? Like,
you had to work for it, man. That shit meant something.
Yeah.
Right, it did for real.
Yeah. So we can let them get going now, and we had a good chat with you. It's late. You're on the East Coast, so
thank you guys. Hey man, I appreciate you guys watching the show. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you, and we'll be in touch, man.